Yo, what's good guys, but I'm Fire here back with another video, and today we're going to be hopping into another offensive video in Madden 22. Today what we're going to be looking at is the pistol playbook. We're going to be rocking with the pistol tight slots. There's a lot of unique formations, so if you want to see some other stuff, definitely let me know. Just going through, you have a lot of cool things. There's like a pistol trips open. I do like this pistol trips, although I do think I made a video on it earlier in the year. I can definitely update that. Would be good in the gameplay. You have things like pistol wide trips, just a lot of unique, really cool runs, really good passes. Some of these formations, very unique with the tight end, almost at an up back type spot. Then you have like a U-deep slot, just so many different cool crossing routes, plays in here. Like a pistol wing slot, just so many formations that are only in this playbook that are really cool. Tight slots is in a couple of other playbooks. I don't know the exact specifications of that. Definitely is in some though. This is going to be a unique formation. It's going to start with Darren Waller. He actually gets running back hot routes here, which is going to be pretty cool. You'll see that in action. 3 other wide receivers. We'll get our audibles. I like wheel switch, inside zone split, bench switch, PA post shot. There's also a mesh play, which you can't see on the left there, and a bench, just a traditional bench play that will of course have the inside receiving targets running the corner outs instead. But let's actually start out with our run play, which is going to be the inside zone split. There are other runs like a counter, a drag, or a draw rather, a halfback zone. Personally, I like the inside zone split the best because I like the way that Derek Carr hands this ball off. I think he hands it off relatively quickly, and overall I think it makes for the cleanest handoff animation, just the best way to run the ball in my opinion. Now, I like to pass the ball more out of this formation personally, but it's not going to hurt you to run the ball, and you can definitely pick up some big holes, big gains, just the way that we did right there, even with our offensive line pretty much getting overmatched by their D-line. And you see, you should be able to pick up some pretty good gains. Now again, you're not really going to cut it back, just keep running it up the middle, but you should have good success doing this, and it's good to mix it up. You don't want to pass the ball 30 times and run the ball 2 times. You want to maybe get like a 20-10 split with passes and runs. For every 2 passes, you run the ball once. That's a good split in my opinion. You can also flip this run if you want, and it'll create a different handoff animation where he just kind of rotates his body, which can create some other things. So again, weird enough, you flip it, and now you notice how Darren Waller seals that outside. So it can definitely create some different angles, and I'm sure that's something that a lot of you guys didn't know about the pistol inside zone splits that you can actually do. Now, one thing that is kind of limited with this formation is the motion. You can do different things like motion this receiver over, which creates a gun bunch tight end look, and that pretty much will move Waller onto the ball. This will actually give him his tight end hot routes, so you can go ahead and do that. That's a motion that definitely could be useful. Now, I didn't really mention that running back hot routes, but for example, we're going to put Waller on a hot route. Now you see it goes to running back hot routes, which again, we'll show more of that later. So we can motion Zay Jones over. With these guys, if I try to motion Renfro over, you can definitely do that. If you try to motion Renfro to the left side, it actually just kind of flips him. It makes Renfro go on the ball, and then it makes Bryan Edwards go off the ball. So this kind of creates a regular super tight bunch look. I don't use too much of the motion in this video, but if we hopped into a gameplay, I could probably show a little bit more with it. And the last motion thing that I was talking about was this. Moves Renfro onto the ball, moves Edwards off. So again, won't have too much of an effect unless you wanted one player to not really get pressed as much. So that's really it for the inside zone split. Now let's hop into our first play, which is going to be wheel switch. Now this play is unique for a couple of reasons. The first reason, I'm sure you can tell looking at this play, what do we like? We like the tight end hot route probably the best out of it with Darren Waller. Now, you can put him on the running back wheel route, which is going to send him further to the outside, which in this case is actually probably not the best. So we want to open him up, and the way I do that is just simply using wheel routes. I like this play with wheel routes. Now, Bryan Edwards is an interesting spot here. If you take a look, he's going to break to the outside to where he almost runs in the same area, and you see how he brings his zone there. That's not really what we want. If you have hot route master, wide receiver apprentice, put him on like just a traditional post route if you can. If not, you can do different things. Like if we wanted to, we just streak Y up the middle here. We could put him on a little in route, which shouldn't bring too many people over to the area. And now you see Josh Jacobs, he's wide open, and that linebacker is completely inside. So that's a simple way to eliminate that concern. And I mean, of course, you can just do other things as well. And once again, you can put really either Renfro or Edwards. It shouldn't have an effect on the play. Now over here with Darren Waller, we can also kind of throw him vertical like this. You do want to wait a little bit for this one because you see how that hook curl zone initially goes towards him, but later stabilizes and moves back to his inside assignment once it kind of quote-unquote passes him off. Now, let's show the play with the running back wheel route. If I were to throw him at this, and you see it's not going to be as clean. Really, these guys almost run to the same area because he is starting so far inside. This is not affected by the hash mark as well. If I was on the complete right hash, it would be the exact same scenario. We have tried this out. And again, you see they kind of just run into each other. It still works, don't get me wrong, and it does make them further on the outside, which can allow you to throw maybe a little bit earlier, I would say. But, again, they kind of do run to that same area, so you do got to be a little bit careful. Be on your A game, but you can throw either of these guys. You see RB and A little bit more open. And the reason that you have to run this play kind of from that right hash mark is if I were to, let's say, go to this left hash, you'd notice that the running back wheel would be going to the same area as the tight end wheel, which is something that we, of course, do not want. Something that turns out like this, which, why would you want that? And also this would make the wheel route and the flat run, just, again, very close. Gives you a very small window, and with Acrobat, some of those type passes could even get intercepted in certain situations. So just be a little bit careful with that. Keep that in mind when you're using plays with the tight end wheel. Now, moving on to our next play, it's going to be the bench switch play. And you can run either bench or bench switch. It shouldn't matter too much. Again, really, this is where I like to use the gun bunch tight end, pistol bunch tight end motion. And this is where we can do different things like create a tight end corner type play look. If you guys know what that play is, you would understand that it kind of looks similar to this tight end corner, which is in gun bunch tight end. It's only in some bunches though. But you could just run your play like this and it would be pretty successful. You have corner routes, post routes, out route, or corner routes. So just a lot of different things to throw. And again, just pretty difficult to defend. If we wanted to create a more traditional crosser look, what we could do is maybe put Darren Waller here on a little clear out. And then maybe just, you can maybe streak Y, flat A, something like this. And then maybe you just wheel the running back so you can create a look like this. And this is where you could maybe hit Zay Jones as more of a crossing route. It's not going to be the best because you don't have a clear out. So if you want to get Zay Jones more on the sideline, that is probably the situation where you do want to go ahead and streak Darren Waller. And then, maybe you just like drag Hunter Renfro over here. You could block your running back, or you could maybe throw him on a little out route or wheel route. Either one should work decently well. And now if we wait, I don't know why these guys matched, but he should be open on that. And again, most people aren't running zones with hook curls. So, of course, you're expecting a little bit of a different coverage look. You can run the play stock corner routes by themselves, not the best necessarily, but you could realistically do whatever. And again, we can go with like a hitch route over here. If we wanted to throw this corner out, we could open it up on the sideline the way that we did there. Easy completion with Gunslinger or set feet lead, whichever one you guys choose to use. If you are to run the play stock, you actually could maybe do something with the wheel route. It doesn't turn out the best in my opinion. These guys really run to kind of the same area. It just makes for a tough throw. And if you get someone tall with like Acrobat, they can jump up and make that crazy play. So typically with corner routes, we'll stay away, but you can go with like little hitch routes or curl routes with the wheel route and actually open things up a decent amount. So if we wanted to, we could run a play like this, and I don't think the spacing would be too terrible. And again, it just depends on what zone they're in, whether they would stick with him just super close or not. But that should be a pretty good spacing concept, especially if you notice him kind of leaving the flats either super deep on that right side or super short. You could either throw it over the top or quickly underneath. So if you really wanted to, you could actually almost like snap throw this to Darren Waller and be able to cut up vertically if you were able to get the right pass and the right coverage matching. That's going to do it for your bench switch. The next play is going to be PA post shot, which is definitely the best play in this offense, in my opinion. We're going to start out with a potential cover 3 beater that you can actually use. And it's going to be with the tight end wheel route. We're just going to streak Y, put him on that wheel route, and you can get him open. Now, Bryan Edwards, not the fastest guy in the world, but you see how we do have enough space to actually throw this right now. Again, higher throw power, gunslinger quarterback with a faster release and a faster receiver. That should be a lot easier to throw, and you see it even work there with none of those variables. So it can definitely work there. I'll show it one more time. And again, you can actually, you have the super deep post set up already, and you don't have to be on the certain hash for the running back to go to that side, of course, which is nice because you can always put the tight end over there. So the wheel route does a really good job of pulling Kendall Fuller in this case down and really opening up that deep post for a one-play touchdown. It would work against cover 2 as well, I'm guessing, which we're against cover 3 right now, but it would work against cover 2 additionally. Now, if you just run this play stock, it also should just work because Hunter Renfrow is on that kind of verticals route, super deep crossing pattern that really just gets open. So we can kind of throw him over here.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. Sorry, could you
Shut up, Siri, you idiot. I don't know why Siri just went off. I didn't say anything that would have caused that, but maybe me saying super deep, whatever. Sorry about that. That scared me, but yeah, he's on that deeper route. Of course, if you wanted to, you could just traditionally clear him out with either Darren Waller here or whoever. Now, Darren Waller on his streak actually runs it in the way that he kind of cuts up vertically. It doesn't really affect the route because he's not getting pressed anyway. But I would prefer putting that outside wide receiver on the streak if I am able to. But if we don't want to, we could just do something. Do we really need the deep post? I don't know if we do, so we could put X on a little flat over here or something like this, and this will also open up B, who's on a really flat kind of a crossing route. It looks like he runs really deep in the play art. That's not the case. He kind of peaks out at around that 15-20 yard mark. So it definitely looks like he does go deeper in his play art, I would say. So again, you can just streak A. If you want to streak B, you could do that. And then with A, it's interesting because A, if you really wanted to get the tight end in that position, you can't. This is actually another cool kind of tight end motion. If you wanted to motion him over there, you could, and then throw him on drags. He's still on the running back wheel route, so if we wanted a wheel route to the other side for whatever reason, we could actually motion him over and create that kind of weird concept. But again, you see with the wide receiver clear out, in this case our B wide receiver, it just opens Hunter Renfrow on that deep route so much better, in my opinion, which is why we might be doing things like wheel routes. You just drag A or put him on it. You can't put him on a drag, so you have to just do this in route, but you can do something like this. But definitely get creative. Probably a 6-man protection would be ideal in this scenario, considering you do need a little bit of extra time to get those passes off, whether it's the deep post or the crossing route with Renfrow. But overall, it's going to do a video. If you guys enjoyed, drop a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out.